Hey everybody, coming at you again, this time from my couch, not my car, because second viewing, I went to see the Phoenician scheme again, as it definitely required a second viewing to kind of get my processes and a lot of thoughts I was having. So yesterday I kind of focused, when I saw that, on the spiritual nature of it, the redemption story that's going into it of a person who puts all of their heart and soul into money and power, and then in the end realizes that that's fleeting. And obviously, there's a lot of scripture that can go along with that as well. Rich men, camels, needles, all of that. Eye of the needle, and finding your redemption. But today, as I watched it again, I kind of really focused heavily on this message of privilege and wealth, which I think ties into a lot of movies. This also used to say I was focused too, like on a lot of the really great cinematography he uses. Like, I see a lot of things like single camera stuff from the silent movie days. There's Buster Keaton montage or tributes, Murnau tributes, Fritz Lang tributes. So just that Méliès, again, the film stuff, right? But it's just so beautiful. I can't stop it. But what got me today as I was watching it was really just kind of this message that I think you see in movies like The Menu, which came out a few years ago, Triangle Sadness, obviously, but even in a movie like Pretty Woman. I was just thinking about this today too. There's that kind of aha moment for Richard Gere's character when he's with Jason Alexander, and he's like, I loved building blocks as a kid. We don't build anything. We don't make anything. We don't create things. We just destroy like other people's stuff. Like, Ralph Bellamy's character made these beautiful Navy ships, and he was contributing to society, contributing to society. And Richard Gere's character was the money, the power, the privilege, the influence, comes in just to systematically take what somebody else built and break it apart and turn it into something not as pretty. And as I watched the movie today, I heard a lot of that, like the mention of this really beautiful hotel that they meet at, and how, just kind of an offhanded comment, if you don't catch it the first time, how this was a really beautiful hotel that the whole world went to, and then corporations got a hold of it and now it's ugly. And then they passed on to the next scene. Stuff like that. The idea of the consistency, I'm having a hard time today, of the airplane, the idea of the airplane. And if you stay for the credits, there's these images of art and music. And I kept thinking about that. Like they showed, the Wright brothers, or a depiction of people inventing the plane. Here, people put their all into building these machines, and they wanted to give them to humanity, contribute to humanity, contribute ideas and progress. And then inevitably they become the symbol of status. Like, obviously we're hearing a lot about jets and various other things in the world, and how we have to have $400 billion jets or whatever. They become status. The bigger the jet, the more you sit up front, the better the class, the better the privilege. And so this invention that the Wright brothers determined would move humanity forward has been taken and used as a symbol of status. And at the end, he plays that artwork. And I thought about that. Like, the characters are happiest when they're doing what they love, contributing rather than taking, rather than consolidating power, rather than stepping into what somebody else has built and created and just kind of cannibalizing everything. And art is that way, right? Like, this movie is artistic expression. Like, he uses a Magritte painting. I kept thinking about that the whole time. I kept thinking about Dali, and I kept thinking about Magritte and surrealism in this film, and just how beautiful contributions to art and music have been in the world. And these people gave it their soul. But the idea of art and music, classical art, classical music, opera, is in itself a symbol of status, right? They took what people gave to us, their gifts, and they bought it. And so I think that's a lot in this movie too as well. It's kind of a beautiful message to think about. Like, in the end, we're just happiest, like Richard Gere, building blocks, doing stuff that we always love to do. And that's kind of the point of The Menu as well, right? If you've seen The Menu, he just wants to make a cheeseburger. and he's his happiest. He's not happiest making high-minded food. He's happiest making a cheeseburger. And I think that is a really interesting message of the film too in our time, and how the world becomes the pawns of these great leaders who are just biding time, doing what they think they have to do to consolidate, and we get used as the pawns of this whole thing. And even the communists in the movie, right, that you go see, even the communists aren't really communists, right? If they had that power, they would do the same thing. In that scene, and when one of the communists steals the artwork, or they pray, like nobody has any true motivations. Everybody is out for their power, and so we're just playing a chess game of scrambling until it ends. And so, again, that spiritual nature of how are you going to defend your life and how you treated other people in the end, right? And so I love that too, because it's kind of a defending your life, Albert Brooks type thing as well. So, sorry, talking a little long on this, but I just saw that. It really struck me today as what is the book of your life going to look like? If you're Christian, did you do for the least of these as you did for me? Or did you not do for the least of these because then you didn't do it for me? And I always think that's an interesting premise, especially in these times, and what's happening out there in the world today, which is a lot on my mind. But this movie's got a lot of hopeful message for that, I think. So definitely go check it out. So anyway, there you go. Part 2.